Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today I'm going to show you these gorgeous painted pattern fish. These were done by my second grade students and they are 7 years old. But this would be easy enough to do for kids of all ages. But this is a very simple version of some imaginary painted fish and it comes out gorgeous. And what I love about this lesson is that all kids are successful with this. And it's beautiful, beautifully done. We're actually going to frame them for an art show, so we're real excited. But I want to show you these examples done by 7-year-old students. And as I'm showing you the examples, you want to be thinking about what colors and patterns that you might want to use. And you can get ideas of what the overall look looks like when we look at other artists' pictures. And again, these are 7-year-old artists that created this. And you can see how when you paint very nice and neatly, how beautiful the patterns can look and how interesting. And of course, using your imagination, you can add other things to your painting as well. Just like this student added one of these sea urchins at the bottom here. And of course, some other things in the background. This is an interesting combination. It kind of reminds me of the clownfish combination, the orange and the black. This is beautiful. These colors almost look like they're vibrating here. And it's the blue background paper here of the fish, and then the blues and light blues, and then some of this hot pink. It makes a gorgeous color combination. And this is so vibrant too. Very vibrant. And I love the way that they chose to do the spikes even in the orange, which matches the background of the fish. So we're coordinating our colors. Beautiful combinations. Orange and green are complementary, so you get that vibration color that's happening in here, which is real interesting. And you notice how the colors repeated here. That helps with unity. Again, this was 7 years old that painted these. Beautiful. This color combination's gorgeous too. I don't know which one's my favorite. And then here's another pattern combination here. And actually, we got some mermaids swimming around. So you can have some fun with your background as well. And one more to show you. You can see how this kind of blends in with the background. So you might want to think about the color of your background when you're choosing your fish. So these are all things that artists need to think about. Gorgeous detailing down at the bottom. I'm going to even show you a close-up of all this beautiful patterns and textures and line control. So these are some things that you might want to put in your painting. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing to do is to cover the entire paper with blue value, or you could always use just a piece of blue construction paper. Now the square that I have here is, I think it's a 9 by 12 square that's on the inside here. And so that's the paper that my kids were using. And then the fish was actually a fish that I cut out using an Accucut die machine. And it was just a simple giant fish. It was the jumbo size die. But we're going to be painting our background using horizontal, I want some white back here, horizontal brush strokes. So I tell my kids to fill this page very quickly, horizontal brush strokes, and very thin. I sometimes water down my paint here for the background because we don't need real thick paint in this background. Nice and thin. And you can do it in bands of separate colors, or you can blend it together just like I've done. But we don't want to spend too much time on the background. We want to spend more time on the fun stuff. And then, while this is drying, we go on to our fish shape. And for the fish shape, what we do is, like I said, it's an Accucut die, and this is the size jumbo. If you don't have an Accucut die, you can go ahead and just use... cut this, trace it or draw it, and then cut it out of a, just cut it out of a piece of construction paper. Okay, what we do with the fish first is I have them draw some curved lines here. And if you look at my fish examples, we start out near the gill area. We want to separate the head from the body. If we added all this pattern over here, it may be too confusing and you won't be able to see the details of the head. So that was the theory in separating these areas. So we start off with a nice color that's contrasting to our background color. And I'm going to go ahead and just trace in the area top to bottom, and you want to make sure that you touch the top of the fish and curve down, almost like a C-shaped curve, right to the bottom of the fish. Now this is the upper fin here of the fish. So if you want to just put a row of dots here so that you know that's the upper row, and then this is the bottom here. Now we're going to stop at the tail because I don't want to do stripes on the tail vertically. I'm going to be putting them diagonal. So we're going to do a line right here at the tail. Now we're going to follow these curve lines, skipping a big space. I'm going to do another curve, and I touch the top of the fin, and I'm letting the hairs drag behind my brush as I go, and I paint this stroke slowly so I get nice clean edges, and then lift the brush off there. I'm going to skip a big area. Now look, that's almost 2 fingers. It's bigger than 2 fingers. So I'm just going to divide this in half again. And notice when the paint gets dry, go back and fill in. Go slow so that you get nice clean lines on both sides. When the hairs drag behind your brush, as opposed to going up, this will fan out and give some bad edges. You don't want your edges to be rough. Then what we do, this is the first color we're using. We want to repeat this color. So we're going to turn our fish. I'm going to do a straight line in the center of the tail. And then I'm going to fan out. I'm going to trace this edge and this edge. And these are diagonal. Now I'm trying to get a real skinny line here. So I'm going to rest my hand. This helps artists get full brush control. And I'm just letting the tip drag on the page. Turning, just let the tip drag right there. So now I have my tail done with our pattern. Now this is going to help bring unity to the whole fish. I've got my base color here, which is the red stripes. Now what I want to do is some red and red down here. Now if you notice, these are diagonal lines, so I'm going to follow these lines. Oops, that's kind of thick. If you have to wipe your brush, if you have too much paint on your brush, wipe it on the edge of the dish. You want to make a nice beautiful point. Barely any paint, touch the edge. Resting your hand. Good brush control. See, that's a lot better than the first one. I was in my fat line mode here. Barely touching. There. And so I have some nice thin lines here. So now we have a variation of lines. We've got some really thin lines and some thick lines. Variation is an art element in it, and that's something to make your painting more interesting. I'm coming back now and doing some diagonal lines. Diagonal. I'm following this angle here. These lines come back, 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 and back. Just letting it touch lightly. Okay, so now I have a nice color pattern here. I've got all my reds going throughout the whole fish. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to another value of color. Now I'm going to go ahead with that second value of color, and I'm going to put another stripe coming in. And the one I'm going to switch to is a kind of a hot pink color. So I'm going to just come back. And I'm going to do the curve, put a curve in the center here. So I'm dividing this space in half visually, and then I'm doing my curved lines the way I did before. That way I'm forming a pattern. The red, pink, red, pink, red. Now I'm going to do another pink. So I have my pink pattern. I'm going to take this pink pattern color and I'm going to repeat the pink color over here, but instead of lines, I'm going to be putting in dots. That's to bring the same color over to the face, but it's a different pattern so it's not distracting to my eye. And the dots are tiny, go up, down, using just the tip of the brush. And again, everything really neatly. If you smack that, oops, down too hard, you're not going to have a neat little dot. So we do nice, neat brush control. And when you start running out, let me show you here. It's starting to run out of paint, so get more. Your eyes will tell you those aren't good circles, so just fix them. And you'll be able to say, hey, I need more paint. I don't have any on my brush. By smacking it and twisting it, it doesn't make more paint on the brush. It just ruins your brush and makes your painting not as neat. When you start running out, get more paint. As an artist, you can see when you need more just by paying close attention. There's my nice, neat patterns. It's filling the space. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat. Now, if you want to repeat in here, real small on the edges, you can, if you have enough room. Some kids run out of room here. And the same on the tail. And I'm not going to do my full line, meaning I'm not going all the way. Look, I'm doing a half line with this repeat, not all the way in. Same thing up here. I'm just kind of tipping it. This just brings that color up here too. Again, which helps for unity. Now I'm going to switch to another color, and you can choose a different color family. I'm going to actually go into some blue here and doing tiny lines coming across. Now these can be lines, or you can kind of turn them into scales, or you can just print your brush if you want to just press your brush like this. But whatever you choose, however you choose to do these lines, or using the brush as a press, they all need to be the same. So I'm going to go fix these. So I'm going to choose to just press my brush. Whoops. So they're the same. And I'm going to repeat that. So this forms some kind of horizontal scales or pattern. And we're going to repeat that throughout the whole thing now. I'm going to do mine quick. Right in here. So now this next color is repeated to help with unity. And unity makes the picture or painting look whole, or the subject. It all matches and goes together. Just like if you did a person, each arm would not be painted different colors. It would be the same flesh tone. That helps with unity, helps that. There. So this blends all together. If I did this in different 2 colors and then 2 more colors or 1 color, it would be too crazy of a pattern, and it would not help with my unity of my design. Now I could even take this color and bring it around the same color I'm working on and do some eyes. Give a little eye color here. Now our die shape was printed so that it was pressed so the eyes cut out. But if yours is not, you can do even a black in the center, a black pupil. Or once you place it on your painting, then you can put a little black pupil here on your picture. But that's basically how, oh, I forgot the mouth. Go ahead with your black, and as I'm looking, and it touches the edge of here, and go on in. Now, depending on the fish you're going to be making, just a little skinny line coming in. If you want the mouth to be more opened, then it comes open, and fill that space in right there. And if you want to repeat that black, my kids repeated. We did some black. If you want to repeat that on these edges here a little bit, you can put a little bit of black in, black line. We're going to be framing, my kids are going to be framing these in with black frames. So our students are all having this art show. So the black here helps blend in with the frame. So if we put a little bit of black, or even just a row of black dots here, that helps bring the black in with pattern. And again, you got the black here, here, a black dot in the center, and if you want to bring a little bit of black around here, that helps define. And then even your gill here, if you want to put a little bit of black line to help define the gill as well. The black kind of makes the intensity of these colors pop out. and make them a little bit brighter. But there you have your simple patterned fish. And let me know in the comments how you did. I'd love to hear from you on how your fish came out.